Alright guys, now I'm currently working on another video and I wanted to make, a separate one since the bumper's already off. I have this oil cooler that I've been talking to you guys about that I want to go ahead and install on the FX. Now, right now, how this oil cooler is going to go is going to be installed right in this area right here. As you can see, there's perfect clearance, nothing interfering, it's behind the bash bar. So we got to make it sit somewhere in this area right here. So it's honestly a perfect size for what we want to accomplish. Now the only problem that I'm running into is there's no bracket right here, so I have to make my own. Now what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to go ahead and drill holes right here in order to be able to mount this right there with no problem. Now here's the other issue I'm running into is, these brackets right here, they actually go under and they're like welded kind of like this onto the back portion of it. So that's why this was installed with no problem and it has those brackets. In this case, I do have to drill in order to get this to work. Now I do have to make a custom bracket for that, which I have this. Now this right here is obviously like angled right like that, and I can't use that. So what I'm thinking about doing is flattening this out this way. And what I mean by flattening it out, so right now it has like this angle right here. I'm gonna hammer it down so I can flatten it out, and then I can go ahead and install this like that. And then this will be flush in order for the oil cooler to sit right there in that spot. So that should be perfect. I just gotta flatten it out with my hammer, and then I do have to make another hole for this other side, because you can see this one goes there, but this one cannot mount anywhere on the other side. This one can, but over here I can make a hole right about right there in order to mount it. So we should be okay either way. But yeah, now I'm gonna flatten it out. I got my hammer right here, and it should be pretty easy. Alright, so I flattened this thing out for the most part, the best that I could. And it looks like it's going to sit somewhere like right there. And then attach it right here. And then here are the lines. I actually want to make sure that they reach before I install it there. I kind of have a feeling that that might not reach, but we'll have to see. I know for sure like one of these is longer than the other one. Yeah, I think this one over here is a little way longer. Alright, so if we want to install the oil cooler right here, one of the lines will have to be like right there, so it has to reach, and I would like to put it over here and then in there like that. I would most likely even put it right in this hole right here so it doesn't touch this right there. So this is gonna go like that. And this will be like somewhere around here, and this line is right here. This is actually not gonna work. These lines are too short. I would have to figure out a shortcut to get it there without having to go around here, because these things are pretty short, so it's not gonna reach. Like my M45 was a little bit easier, because I felt like the oil filter was like right in this area, like right here, and that one is further back over there. Well, that's gonna suck. Now we got that problem to figure out. Alright, so I'm still running into issues installing this thing. The best way is going under, but if I do it under, the problem is that this right here, where the bumper attaches to, I'm not going to be able to attach it to anymore. It's going to have to be loose, which I mean is okay. because it's mainly supported from like this front portion right here and in the back where the shield's at. But you know, I just prefer to have everything in place how it's supposed to be, so I would just have to run it under, and I really don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I really want to go through that route, but since I'm still trying to figure this out, it looks like the best way of doing it is just putting it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble these things right now. So to put this together, you're gonna go ahead and take out these O-rings. These are gonna go right here, and then you're just gonna tighten this thing down with the O-ring, and that will seal it right there. Same thing with this one, there's one more. And then for these rings right here, I use the smaller one, and I did this on my M45, and the smaller one sealed up without any issues. I didn't use the bigger one, just the middle one, and it worked perfectly fine. I never had any leaks. But same thing with this one, like that. And then I believe these side ones are meant for like sensors, if you're gonna attach some type of sensor on there. I'm not going to, so I'm just gonna add some thread locker right here. That's a high temp one. I have it in my toolbox over there, so I'm just gonna tighten that. Then this is gonna go mounted like that to where the oil filter is at, and then the lines are gonna go connected right there. So I'm gonna have it angled like this. So I know I have for sure enough space right there to connect it without a problem. But the issue is, you know, trying to route it to an appropriate place where I feel comfortable without it going under. That's the only problem I'm running into right now. So right now I'm gonna add thread locker to these right here, these little ones. And then this right here is to hold the lines together so they don't separate, which is pretty cool. But let's tighten these and then put thread locker on those. Alright, so I made a hole right there in the bottom. This is like metal, so this should be pretty secure. I made another one right there. This is a little bit harder to get to. I'm gonna have to like sand this down right there to get easy access to the hole, or I could just get a longer screw to, you know, mount up appropriately. Alright guys, so far we're pretty much done with our bracket and everything. I'm putting this in place. We got the bolt right there, sturdy, not coming off. And then I just need some nuts and bolts washers to install this thing right here. I just don't have any right now. So what I plan on doing is I'm gonna go ahead and install 2 bolts right there, and then just one on this side, and that should hold it in place. And then right here I just made a cut to get this away from there, and then this is actually gonna hold it in place at the top to not like move forward. So that's perfect. I'm not gonna do anything at the top. Now the lines have perfect clearance, as you can see. It's not gonna hit anything. This one might hit a little bit, but I think we should be okay. I just move it to the back, because the lines, you can, you know, twist it back and forth to position it correctly. So we should be okay with that being right there, but we'll see right now. Now, I think I'm gonna have to run to the store. I need to make that hole a little bit bigger, because I'm trying to find some like nuts and bolts washers that actually fit on there. I like these smaller ones, but they're too small. I want to use locking nuts because I don't want this to come off in the future. So I think I'm gonna have to go purchase those really quick. Alright, so I found the thread locker. I use this one right here. They're sealant, high temperature, because this is going where the oil filter is at. You want to use a high temp one because it does get pretty hot down there. So apply some. Let me remove that. Let me actually let me go ahead and mix this, because it's been sitting for a while actually, so that doesn't look right. It looks like a bunch of like liquid. I don't care about these shorts, so I'm gonna just clean it. And just mix this up really well. There you go, that looks a little bit better. I don't plan on taking this off, so usually you don't want to cover the entire thing, but just enough. to seal it. Alright, lucky for me, I was able to find some 12mm bolts right here and nuts. Now I just gotta tighten these down. There you go. It's on there now, good. I would like to reinforce it a little bit at the top because you can see like it moves a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. Alright, cool. So the oil cooler is technically installed. Now we just need the lines, which honestly I think I'm gonna have to do it, you know, going like that over everything, which I didn't really want to do, but that's honestly the best way of doing it. Unless I could extend these, that's the only way. If this was a little bit longer, I could make it work. Like on the M45, it was perfect. Like the measurement that they gave me was honestly insanely like spot on. I was doing a little bit more research and I believe my motor has been replaced, and the reason I say that is because most FXs that I've seen online, they have their oil cooler pointing this way to the front versus to the side. Now for my 370Z, it's on the side just like this one is. So I feel like either they replaced it or the 2013 FX didn't come with one, but I don't think that's true because the FX35 even has an oil cooler. Now if you guys don't know what the oil cooler looks like, it's literally like that thing that I just showed you guys that attaches to the other end of this right here for the oil filter. It's literally like that almost, and then it has lines that extend out that go to the coolant lines. That's what the oil cooler looks like. It doesn't look like this. It looks more or like this. It doesn't look like this either. It just has like a spacer in between, connects to the coolant lines. That's all it really is. So I've honestly came to the conclusion that I believe that my motor has been replaced for that specific reason with like a G37 370Z motor. But right here at the bottom, you can kind of see there's one of the bolts right there attached to it, and then there's another one right there. Just drill through it. It's on there pretty solid, so I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. Now we just gotta connect the lines. I'm gonna connect them for now, and then once I do my next oil change, I'll go ahead and connect these because I have pretty much like brand new oil in there and I don't want to waste it. You shouldn't need sealant for this right here, and the reason for that is because this has like I forgot how you explain it, but the way it sits in there, once you tighten it right here, it creates a proper seal. So the need to add sealant is not actually needed for this specific step right here. So I'm just going to connect these for right now, wrap them to the front, and then my next oil change, I will actually connect these at that point in time. I decided to make my own little stencil for, you know, Chris right there. Thought it looked pretty cool. Measured it out. So just gonna spray this and hopefully it comes out pretty good. Not too bad. It's aight. It's not the best, but it's aight. Alright, cool. Let's just leave it like that. Yeah, looks okay. Doesn't look too bad. I'll take it. For something I just did in a few seconds, I think it looks decent. If anything, I'll just paint it black again. It's not gonna do anything to it. Alright, so right now we're gonna go ahead and drain the oil. So we can go ahead and install our new filter and this extension right here. So this right here is gonna go connected to the inner like shaft where this would go. So it's gonna go connected like that, and you need a 25 millimeter. Fits perfect right in here. To tighten this, you have to tighten this good. You need a socket this size. Don't use an open-ended wrench. An open-ended wrench is not gonna get it as tight as you need it in order to seal up everything. So let me show you a little bit more of how this would look. So this is gonna go like that. And you're gonna connect this like that, and then tighten this right here. That simple. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm not gonna remove the bottom plug because then that's gonna allow all the oil to come out. So I'm just gonna remove this filter right here. Not too bad. Alright, now here's the thing about this. You want to clean this surface right here extremely well. Now I just cleaned in my last oil change, so I'm just gonna go over it again right now. But you want to use a blade, go through it to get any like the grease off right there, and then once you do that, then you can go ahead and put the attachment on there. Alright, so like right there, you can see that it looks pretty clean. There's just that line right there from the oil filter, but you would want to make sure that there's no line right there of gunk, because then that's going to cause it not to seal properly. But mine's already pretty clean. Just go through it with the knife, take all the excess off. It's pretty straightforward. Gonna put a little bit of oil on here, just like that. And then this is gonna thread right on there. And then the attachment I'm using is the metric one, because there's only like one metric. The other one has like some weird numbers on there, like 3/3/ something. This is the only metric one that comes in the kit. Alright, so there you go. And then I'm gonna angle it kind of like that to get it away from here, and then I'm going to attach the lines right there. So that's how simple it is. You just got to tighten it now. Alright, so I'm still tightening this right here. Now I want to make this like as close to fitting right here as possible without touching this, because this might be angled too far down where it's not going to fit properly, where it's hitting this. So I think that's going to be the perfect angle, like right there. Now, one thing that I did notice though is that this right here, I'm not going to be able to really tighten this one up here with this one being in the way. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this one off and then tighten this one down fully. Then once this one is on, then I'm going to put this one back on, just to make it a little bit easier so I can tighten them properly, because you don't want to leave any of these things loose because they will leak without a problem. Now I can install the oil filter, same thing, put a little bit of oil on there, right here. As you can see, it fits right there with no problem. Okay, it looks like that right there is full. I would say it took about a quart to fill up. Alright. Try not to make a mess of this thing right here. Okay, let's install this one because this other one's already leaking as well. Alright, let's turn it on, see if there's any leaks. So far so good. I'm not seeing any leaks anywhere. Let the car get warm because this is supposed to dry out once the car is hot. And so far I haven't seen it leaking, so that's good. This right here isn't leaking, so we're good there. So now we know this thing ain't leaking at all, so we should be good. After positioning the clamp right here, it doesn't look like this is actually gonna move anywhere, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some 3M tape right here. So like right there. Just gonna add some 3M tape. I probably should have put it over there. I mean, it's stuck on there already pretty good. Alright guys, so there is the oil cooler installed. Fits perfectly right in that area right there. You could mount it anywhere that you want to. I just thought that was the best spot, especially because I plan on adding the intakes right here. As you can see, the hole's already there for when I get the intakes. I think that's the best spot in my opinion. I wish the hoses would have been longer so I could extend it around and then in, but they were way too short. I had to do it this way. So hopefully I don't have any issues when I put the bumper back on. I'm pretty sure I won't, but I will let you guys know and put in the description if I end up having any problems with putting the bumper in with this location. I don't think so because it's really close to the power steering line right there, so it should be fine. But these are pretty cheap. I think this is like $100. I got this as a gift for Christmas, and I'm just now barely putting it on. Just haven't had the chance to do it, and everything was pretty straightforward. The bracket that I got, I actually got it a long time ago when I had my M45, but it wasn't fitting properly, so I ended up using that. I'll link it down below if you guys want to pick up that bracket. But you can make any bracket. You just need something to extend out. Get something from like Home Depot to extend out the bracket to attach it, and it'll be perfectly fine. So it came out pretty sick. Overall happy with the install. It's not leaking or anything like that. Already test drove it, getting it warm and everything, so it could look pretty sick. Once I do those intakes though, it's gonna look pretty sick because the grill is huge, so you'll see those intake filters sticking out right there. I'm gonna go to a store in a little bit to see if I can find some intake filters. If not, I'll order some on Amazon. I'm supposed to get the piping within the next few days. I think it's gonna come in on Tuesday hopefully, and then I'll be doing that video as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to see the oil cooler once the bumper's on because the bottom hole is pretty small, but it gives you an idea how it will look without the bumper on, and it fits perfectly with no problem. And I highly recommend an oil cooler for the VQ platform. When I had my 370Z without the oil cooler, and I didn't have the coolant one either, though it comes from factory from Nissan because mine's the older 370Z. I know the newer ones like 2013 and up come with it, but that thing would get hot. I would easily reach like 260 temps once I would push the car. When I was cruising, I think it was like 220, 240, especially here in Arizona. And then after adding the Mishimoto oil cooler to that car, I would never go over like 220 when pushing it. And it will stay consistently like around 180. So it does help out a lot. I highly recommend an oil cooler for these platforms because you can really feel the heat, especially in the summertime. And I kid you not, like when it gets hot and you don't have an oil cooler, you can feel the heat from the engine to your feet. That's how intense it is. And I'm not even exaggerating, like I could feel the heat coming in from the engine bay. But these will help out a lot. If you're interested in picking one up, I highly recommend it. It's pretty cheap, only like $100, and in my opinion, it's well worth it. One more thing that I forgot to mention is if you already have the oil cooler on your car, I've seen a lot of people actually track their cars and or just want to add an oil cooler, remove the existing one to go ahead and add an aftermarket oil cooler like I did. If you do decide to go that route with removing your oil cooler, you do have to go ahead and actually plug up the coolant lines that it connects to. So it's a little bit extra work, another step, but it is doable if you guys want to go ahead and do this. To remove the old one, you just got to remove that bolt holding it in, kind of like the one that we just did right now. And I think it's a great option for those that want to keep your car a little bit cooler. So that's going to conclude the video, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will link everything down below so you can go ahead and pick it up. I actually put the bumper on, worked perfectly fine. Just like I mentioned earlier, I'm just not going to be able to put those clips in. but it does still connect to the back piece of the splash shield, so it will hold it together with no problem. But that is going to conclude the video. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.